your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
With Jamie and Jeff, I'm Chuck. Lady Raiders win last night, 82-68. They get 24 from Bree Scott. She was one away from a career high of tying the number of threes in a game for her. She went 4 for 5 last night. Ladies shot 52.9% last night, but they were 3 of 14 from the three-ball line, 23 of 30 from the free throw line, and beat a team in Oral Roberts that featured 3 in double figures, including Hannah Cooper. She had 30 points last night.
Good game.
Yeah, she had almost half of their points. They shot themselves out of it from the field in the fourth quarter because they went 0 of their last 5, 1 of their last 9, and no field goals in the last 3:44. But they shot themselves back into contention from the free throw line. They went 10 of 10 from the free throw line in the fourth to finish up 17 of 19. Still too many turnovers. 19 for Texas Tech led to 23 ORU points. They did do a good job in the paint. They had 36 to ORU's 26. And how about this? Just 4 second chance points. In fact, it took into the third quarter before Oral Roberts got any second chance points. So you did a good job rebounding with your defensive rebounds last night. They had 29 defensive rebounds. Oral Roberts with just 7 offensive rebounds last night. So they move their record to 8 and to 9-1 on the season, and have now won 8 straight. And so they're next in action next week against McNeese State. They'll play a couple games next week, break for Christmas, come back, play a game, and then get ready for Big 12 play on New Year's Eve. So Bree Scott went down she went down hard and landed on her backside, had to leave the game for a little bit, then came back in. So anytime she goes down, you kind of fear for her foot because she had foot surgery and was just limited to about 8 games last year. But better landing on her backside and having a little discomfort there than having discomfort in the feet. You can overcome that unless it's something really, really bad. But,
sure, absolutely.
You know, one of the things they wanted to do was they wanted to take an extra pass. They wanted to get great shots as opposed to good shots. They did a better job of that in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. They got into a little bit of foul trouble. In fact, Katie Farrell fouled out of the game. She's just the second Lady Raider to foul out. The only other one that's fouled out was Ella Tofeano. She's fouled out 3 times this year. But anyway, the bottom line was you get the win. Got to experiment with some different lineups. But it's clear you need Bree in there. You need Bailey Maupin to score. Riley McKinney, she had 3 big buckets in the fourth quarter that really helped propel you to that victory or make it so that it wasn't close down the stretch. How about that?
Yeah, it feels like Maupin has slowed down scoring a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's teams now being able to scout her a little bit. I don't know if that's Bree Scott coming back and being the kind of the focal point of the offense, where before it was previously Maupin and Riley McKinney. But I tell you what, the stat line that jumps out to me last night that I just love, that clearly my kind of player. Katie Farrell scores just 4 points, but her plus-minus was the biggest on the team at 21. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's a player that's doing a lot of different things on both ends of the floor.
She's scrappy. There's no question about it. And, I mean, when she's coming down the lane barreling at you, they let her go. they don't want anything to do with her, which is good, which is really, really good. So, yeah, I think like you said, Bailey's slowing down just a little bit. She was 0 for 3 last night from beyond the arc, 3 of 6 from the field. But they have others to kind of pick up the pace. I'll tell you one thing that was really, really cool was at the end of the first quarter. Kyla Freelon gets put into the game. There's 1 second left. Lady Raiders have the ball right in front of the Oral Roberts bench, so they're at the south end of the arena. And Freelon gets the ball, jumps up, gets the ball, and is able to put it in the basket. I mean, she's a hurdler, state champion hurdler, and you saw that hurdling experience come through. But it was just really cool the way that play worked, because it was a design play. They were able to get her into the game, execute it, and get a couple of points. Here's the other wild stat from last night. Lady Raiders scored the first 4 points of each quarter last night.
Okay. Good start.
So anyway, just kind of a little tidbit for you up there. 6:37 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Red Raiders are next in action on Saturday against Jackson State. 2 o'clock the coverage, 3 o'clock the tip time from Houston. So it'll be interesting to see how everybody comes together. Play as one. Let's see. Play hard, play fast, play together, right? That's the mantra?
Yes.
Depending on who the coach is. I mean, no matter who the coach is, I guess I should say. No matter who the coach is. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. The Double T 97.3 mobile app is presented by Happy State Bank. This lesson: don't get emotionally attached to any of our teams or players. My interest is pretty much gone. I'll check the scores, and that's about it. This: if I pay big NIL money for a player, do I get to mandate he will play no matter what? I don't know. This: I hope Tech repos Aimaq's boot.
Well, I mean, you don't get to make the decision as when the coach puts him in the game and when. So, to say when he will play no matter what, you don't get to make that decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you get to.
I mean, if you wanted to, and I wonder if this will happen at some point, if you wanted to say, I'll sign you to this NIL deal, you have to finish the entire year with the team, and or maybe you put stipulations in there. If you leave, the money goes back.
Yeah.
This is contingent on you staying with this particular team or program.
Standard employment contract, in other words.
For the full year, or maybe your entire career, whatever. I don't know.
Do you think Aimaq looked at this team and went, hey, man, I don't know if this team's going to be any good. I'm looking down the road here. Maybe there's another team that is going to go further in the tournament that I could help a little bit more.
My guess is that's not it. I mean, because he would have been a big factor for the team, in my opinion.
Okay.
No, I don't. I think it's more that he wasn't enjoying his time for whatever reason, whether he didn't get along with the staff or his teammates. I don't know.
Okay.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is December 15th, 2022. Jolly old man's revving up the ride, getting ready to get out there and spread the joy and cheer and gifts amongst them. And with some of that joy and cheer to spread amongst you is Jeff McGuire.
Gonna start in 1933.
Okay.
Baseball owners agree to ban Sunday doubleheaders until after June 15th.
I wonder why.
We talked about this one before, it feels like, trying to figure out what the reason was.
Probably a year ago was when we talked about it, if I had to guess.
I think it was more like, I don't know, 365 days ago. Yeah.
1946, the National Football League Championship took place at the Polo Grounds. Chicago Bears beat the Giants 24-14. Record attendance of 58,348 at the final NFL title game played at the Polo Grounds. 1973, Tennessee beats Temple 11-6 in a low-scoring NCAA basketball game.
I was wondering what sport. Yeah.
That's the old four corners. Dean Smith, hold on to the ball. I mean, I realize he wasn't the coach there, but...
At Tennessee or Temple.
No, I get it, but I mean, that's what they did. I mean, that's what teams did. They just get out there and hold the basketball.
Can you imagine being the play-by-play guy in an 11-6 game? That would drive me nuts.
I've done high school games before where teams have held the ball for the whole quarter. Yeah, because there's no shot clock in high school basketball, and the team that was a little bit, say, less athletic, probably the underdog,
right,
against the much more athletic team, and they had a 4-point lead going into the second half, and they got the ball to start the third quarter, and they just ran out the entire third quarter. And I got to, mention our weekly lineup coming up on the radio station, and other games in the area, gave scores and updates.
Did you talk about what you had for dinner and what you were going to cook that weekend?
I did not.
Okay.
Did not. It's, I try to keep it not about me, Chuck. And so, and then every once in a while I go, yeah, he's still holding at the half-court stripe. Coming up Monday at 2, we'll have the Rush Limbaugh show. Yep, he's still holding. Yep.
1980, Jamie Lent was a very happy kid. New York Yankee Dave Winfield becomes the highest paid baseball player. 10 years, $15 million.
Woo-woo.
Wow.
1.5. Let's go, Big Dave.
1982, 3 Kansas City Royals, Willie Wilson, Willie Aikens, and Jerry Martin, are suspended due to cocaine usage.
Yeah, that's a bad high for those 3. Willie Wilson would actually come back and play again.
I don't know what I'm more surprised at. The fact that it was 3 Kansas City Royals, or it was just 3 players that happened to be on the Kansas City Royals back in the 80s.
I was surprised that in any grouping of 3 people in the history of the world, 2 of them were named Willie. That's what I was surprised about.
Willie Mays Aikens.
1997, San Francisco 49ers retire Joe Montana's number 16. Seems like a pretty good idea.
They might have to pull it out of the rafters now. I mean, I just saw that Brock Purdy's questionable for tonight. I mean, who else do they have to play quarterback? I mean, that's their 3rd string guy, right? Mm-hmm. Going to their 4th one. Man, they've got some Texas Tech luck over there in San Francisco.
The speculation is that Tom Brady wants to play for the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I thought he did last weekend. He was one of their best players.
Well, I think that was the beginning of the recruitment of those guys saying, see how well I can throw the ball to you?
Yeah.
2008 in the 74th Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
The winner, Sam Bradford from Oklahoma. 2019, Raiders play their final NFL game in Oakland, conceding 17 unanswered second-half points to go down 20-16 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The team would to play out the rest of the season in Las Vegas in 2020. It is National Gingerbread Latte Day.
Oh, I'm out.
It's also National Lemon Cupcake Day.
I'll do a little of that.
If I were to ask you from the Red Raider basketball team in the last 10 years, who has the smoothest shot? Men's team.
Probably go with Moretti.
That's a good answer, too. Unfortunately, not Moretti's birthday today. It is Justin Gray's birthday today, who turns 27.
Justin was interesting because Justin was one of the... I kind of feel like rare shooters. You could disagree with me here, Chuck. That was better shooting the ball off the dribble than he was just catch and shoot. And then that always amazed me. Yeah, he's spotting up. It didn't feel like I was nearly as confident as if he just, one hard dribble pull up, boom. That's my kid's game, too. She's way better off the dribble than just spotting up.
Happy birthday to Don Johnson, who's 72. Rodney Harrison is 50. Jim Leland, 78. Art Howe, 76. And Mo Vaughn is 55.
Oh, man, that's a good name from the past.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big boy.
And on this day in 1993.
He wasn't roiding, though, right?
Mo Vaughn? No, I think he just liked the buffet.
No, I think he was both.
I wouldn't have guessed that Art Howe was within 2 years of Jim Leland. I would have thought that Art Howe was younger than Jim Leland.
Oh, he is. Jim Leland, 78. Art Howe, 76.
I know.
That's
but
younger?
I would have thought there would have been more younger. Well, that's really good grammar this morning.
Yeah, it's this day in sports history. It doesn't matter. It's 1993 that we look to in history. Schindler's List, starring Liam Neeson, in the true story of a German businessman who saved the lives of more than 1,000 Polish Jews during the Holocaust, opens in theaters. It would be nominated for 12 Academy Awards and took home 7 of them, including Best Picture and Best Director for Steven Spielberg. And that is this day in sports history.
Funny moment in the Lady Raider game last night. It was late in the game. Finkner's doing the broadcast. And he's like, here's Winans. She puts a spin move on absolutely no one. All she had to do is take a step to the basket and hit a layup. She thought somebody was right there. Does a spin move and then misses the shot, and the Lady Raiders got the rebound.
It's called scoring with flair, Chuck.
Yes. A spin move on absolutely no one.
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
impressive.
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
It was. I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Let's see here. We get this. Chuck, did you get in trouble at the Christmas party yesterday? No, I did not. We need a recap on the Christmas party. Well, Jeff is the President's Award winner, so congratulations to Jeff.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was a tremendous honor to him. For his work for all of our stations over the past year. So that's one of the 2 awards that you can win. So congratulations to Jeff. That was very nice, very well deserved. I thought the funniest moment was David Thetford, because we did a white elephant gift exchange. And David Thetford, of all the packages there, and they're wrapped in various things, and sacks and whatnot.
You don't know whose is whose.
You don't know whose is whose. And he picks one up, and he pulled out a Thetford and Ashby cap with a bunch of coupons, and the giver of that was none other than Gary Ashby.
Gary Ashby, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was when, okay, you guys will have to help me out here, the little shot bottles.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Fireball
bottles, okay, were opened up. And initially one was opened up and it was like a 12-pack.
Yep.
Okay. And then a few people later, somebody else opened it up and it was a 6-pack. And the 12-pack came from Gus and the 6-pack came from Sneed. So Gus,
we know who's the better giver, right?
That's right.
We know who's
Gus
the better giver.
outdid Sneed, which Sneed does not like to be outdone. If any of you know Sneed, Gus outdid him not on purpose. They had no idea. It just happened. It was funny.
And then was I right on my gift that I gave that you would not have wanted it? Ironically, my gift went first and Jeff's gift went last, and it was just by happenstance. But it was just funny how that worked out. But Choice selected what was essentially my gift.
Yeah, and some spices. Mrs. Lent would have liked it.
Yeah, for your steak and then in general, and then a bottle of barbecue sauce that I don't know where it was produced, but it was one of my. Where I go to get my grill and stuff, they use it to cook with for their competitive stuff. And then Jeff, I ended up selecting Jeff's gift. It was the last one. I was the last one to select, and Jeff's was the last one left. And the young phenom and his brother Boy Wonder will love it because it was chocolate M&Ms. It's Reese's Pieces, Junior Mints, Snickers bars. So I'm sure
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
It got a loaded bag.
No doubt. And I'm sure that the boys' parents will love that because we'll sugar them up.
Sure. But according to you, that doesn't do anything to kids.
Oh, right. That's right. That's right.
It doesn't affect them at all.
That's right.
At all.
I forgot about that story.
Yeah, I told you guys yesterday I had one goal, and my goal and hopes were that that somebody would leave with my gift and they would be happy. I thought my gift would be liked, okay? was like a really nice Cowboys coffee mug and a Cowboys throw blanket. And at the end of the day, it was just given away to somebody else. Somebody got it who wasn't a Cowboys fan. He just gave it away. Didn't like trade, just gave it away. I think he tried to trade with Jeff. Jeff wouldn't trade with him.
Who got it?
Chris.
Okay.
So my gift failed miserably. I left disappointed that I didn't.
It just
give
went
a
to the
gift.
wrong person.
I didn't give a gift that somebody wanted.
The person who got it for free loved it.
Yes.
And see, Choice traded away mine, and I don't know where mine ended up.
I think yours ended up with Gus.
With Gus? Okay.
No, with David. With David. I'm sorry.
with David Thetford, right?
Because David had the hat with the coupon on it.
And Choice decided he wanted all the coupons.
Choice wanted the coupons.
Yeah. Choice wanted the coupons.
You know, if all he's got to do is work Saturday morning with Edford and Ashby, and they'll hand him a whole stack of them.
Yeah. All right. Joey McGuire, he's the head football coach of Texas Tech University. He was asked yesterday about his approach with the transfer portal. He's got guys in it. He's got some people that he wants who are in it to come here that have been elsewhere. Here's his thoughts on that.
A lot of time it's 1 for 1, and so whenever the one thing that I think with having James Blanchard and Brian Nance and Sean Kinney and Jake Pittman is that's all they do. Like, you got 4 guys and they have some student assistants, and all they do is track that stuff, whether it be high school kids or portal guys. And so we're never caught off guard, whether it's somebody, maybe that you thought was coming back that didn't. We always have somebody ready to go that's we're identified like, hey, if this happens, this is what we're going to do. Now can you go get that guy is now up to us as coaches to recruit them and get them here, but we're always ready. I mean, we have a list of, hey, if something happens here, it's the same way you got to be the same way with injuries. If something happens and to where it's a really bad injury where a guy possibly misses long term, you got to be ready to fill that spot, whether the guy is on your roster or somebody you got to go get.
I no matter really who the head football coach and I'll just say football because that's that organization deals with the most number of people. But I am always fascinated by the level of organization that it takes to run a football program. To know that, okay, I got 4 guys here, they got student assistants, that's their job. It's our job as coaches to go get them. And then they've got to design defenses and offenses and special team plays. And they've got to keep, it's just this big, huge machine that just runs every single day, 365 days, 24 hours a day. And on one hand, you have to have great, I think, organizational skills, but I think you have to have great delegation skills. And then I think you have to have great skills in terms of selecting the right people to put in those slots. But I'm always amazed at I'm just thinking, going like, how does he get everything done? Well, he doesn't get everything done. He's got a mass number of people to get it done. But still, you have to be organized to do that.
At the beginning of the year, when they take that picture and like on the different levels, like bleachers and staff and it's like 50 people. Now you know how to get that done.
Well, yeah, no, I know,
but
a
lot of them.
I know,
for football.
But it still takes somebody at the head of the snake, to make it all happen.
Sure.
But I might be alone in that. I'm just fascinated.
Well, it's just part of the deal. They have to be good at a lot of different things. It's not just about coaching football.
Yeah, and when to call timeout and stuff like that. And should we kick a field goal?
Go for it on fourth down.
Go for it on fourth down.
Or punt.
Yeah. Here's Coach McGuire with his thoughts on the status for Sir Roderick Thompson and Baron Morton.
100%. Both of them are in great shape. As far as physically, both of them was at ankles. So Roderick ran last week whenever the vets conditioned. He was full speed today. Same thing with Baron. In fact, Baron pulled one down during team compete and looked really good running. I was like, "You feel a lot better, don't you?" He said, "Yeah, I feel a lot better." So he's getting closer and closer. I'd say he's probably about 90% as far as running, but ready to go. So it's good to have.
That could be interesting once it gets to bowl time. Because you're less than 2 weeks away, so you would think that he'd be healthier and healthier as you get closer to it. If something happens to Shuck or if something falters, or do we see Baron Morton in some packages against Ole Miss?
Maybe. I wouldn't guess so, though. I feel like And Tyler's shown that he can run the football in some situations as well. So it's not like he's an immobile quarterback. He's not Donovan with his power running ability, but I don't know that Barron gives you so much more than Shuck does.
Okay. And it'll be interesting to see if Shuck decides to come back next year. I think I don't know if he's going to announce anything or if he's just going to come back, but I mean, he could go in or he could come back. Presumably, I'm guessing he would be back next year. Now, does he come back to Texas Tech? That's another question.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be back next year at Texas Tech.
Okay.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, my question for today, considering yesterday's news of Fardaws Aimaq announcing he is leaving the program, and you now know your roster is what it is, you are who you are, where do you think the Red Raiders will finish the season in Big 12 play? Where in the standings?
Okay.
And where were you just before the season started?
I think I was fifth before the season started.
I think we were all fifth, weren't we?
Yeah.
Maybe Jeff said fifth or sixth.
Somewhere between like 4 or 5 or 6 is where like that group is where I had him at the beginning of the season because I thought that group was behind the top 3 but ahead of the bottom 4. I don't know that I feel that way anymore.
Yeah, right. No question. You know, it's almost like, okay, well, not to be just, you know, a total Richard, but man, who can you beat? You know, it feels like everybody's improved, right? You know, I mean, it's like
it's Big 12. It's been that way for a while.
Yeah, no, it has. You're right.
It's not new.
No, it's not. You know, there's a part of me that wonders, you know, with what transpired down in Austin, how does that team, you know, respond? Obviously, it's a top 10 team right now. Is that a team that's now galvanized and comes together, or is that a team that splits a little bit? My guess is it's going to be a team that is galvanized and comes together, because that now they're all on the same page. All right. So everybody's above 500 right now. So I think you'll finish above Oklahoma State. I'm going to put you at 7th. I think you slipped to 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, I would put you above Iowa State too at this point. But it's a lot closer to that than the other end where I thought you were at the beginning of the year.
I'm going to go 8th. I think right now with this roster, Oklahoma State is clearly the 10 team.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a tie for 8th with Oklahoma because I feel about the same with OU. So I think you're dropping back to about 8th. You know, for the last few weeks, you've struggled, and I've continued to say, but hey, you're going to add to the mix. You know, one of the biggest transfers in the country, guy that was Conference Player of the Year a couple years ago, was going to help you at both ends of the floor. 14 rebounds a game. I mean, that was going to be massive. 18 points a game. I mean, like I said, both ends of the floor, he was going to be a big factor. Yeah, that guy's not coming. He's not walking through that door. So
who would you have below Texas Tech then?
The 2 Oklahoma schools.
2 Oklahoma schools. Okay. Yeah, man, that would be a failure season. But I mean, you also look at this and go, okay, understandable with the losses that you have, but then you got to figure out, okay, well, what transpired inside that building with those relationships that led to, was there a common denominator in terms of why McCullough left, why Shannon left, why Aimaq left?
So let me read you this tweet from Fran Fraschilla yesterday afternoon. Came out, I think, at about 6 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I think the news about Aimaq broke at 1:30 or 2 o'clock or something like that. I have no idea if this was what Fran Fraschilla is referring to or not. We just know that it came out a few hours after Aimaq announced he was leaving. Here's what Fran Fraschilla tweeted yesterday. I am hearing that some talented college teams are starting to crack because of NIL payments not being made on time, NIL promises not kept, or jealousy among teammates. Not a value judgment on NIL, it's just human nature. The new normal. Again, no idea if this has anything to do with the Texas Tech situation. No clue. Okay? But I will say this. If a guy like Fardaws Aimaq, who has no connection to this school, only comes here because of an NIL deal that's promised to him, if that's the reason he signed here, or if that was a major reason he signed here, maybe not the only one, but a major one, and suddenly his payments are not being made, or they're delayed, or he's not getting enough of what he was promised, I guess you could probably see why a guy has no loyalty to the school and says, I'm out of here.
Sure.
I'm not getting my money. I'm out of here.
It's like the employee who feels like he's earned his bonus and hasn't gotten it, or feels like he's been shortchanged on his compensation for whatever reason. You know,
if you feel like that, I heard this guy over here is making this much money.
Sure.
Why am I work harder than him? Why am I not making that much money?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean that happens every day, right? So
I just want to be 100% clear. He does not say this is Texas Tech.
Yeah.
But it came out a few hours after the news did. So maybe it is. Maybe it's a little bit about it. Maybe it's 100 programs across the country. Maybe it's a program on the West Coast. I don't know. But we know he covers the Big 12. We know he has a relationship with Mark Adams.
Yeah, extremely close, right?
Yes. And that came out yesterday afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I mean,
and the university per se isn't responsible for the
NIL payments.
NIL payments.
No, there's no per se about it. They can't be. Then that would be would be illegal.
The reason I'm saying that is because you've got these, these end of semester payments that the university in this, this makeup of cost of student living and all this other stuff.
Oh, and they also can give them extra money for good grades and all that.
Yeah.
But those are completely different deals compared to this.
Than the NIL, right?
I mean, he's talking about NIL.
Yeah. So I don't know if, as you move forward, if you should make the university, if you do that, then it's just basically, it's professional sports. We're almost there anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, more on this at 8 o'clock. Boom, Boom, Boom is next at 7:45.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Hey, good morning here on the Morning Drive. I was enjoying the tune this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T973.com. Sometimes, Jamie, you get lost in the wind.
It happens. Definitely happens.
You get lost in the wind.
The Hanukkah song has that effect on me.
Yeah. With Jeff McGuire and Jamie Lent, I'm Chuck Heinz. Come to you from the First United Bank studio this morning, and look forward to your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, or the mobile app. Benchmark hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We get this from Washed Up Guy. Many years ago in my coaching days, a young assistant in his 30s at Sands High School suffered a heart attack during a game and passed on the sidelines. It's always a tragedy to see young people pass, and I'm grateful for every day of my life. washed up guy. Yeah, that's profound. And yeah, it's just all those things. It's incredibly sad. And as you get older, age becomes younger. It's like, oh, he's, because when you're 31, you think 61 is ancient, but when you're 62, you're like 61 is, that's a young man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely different feel.
Completely different feel. We'll have Lady Raider basketball with Krista Gerlich on the air tonight at 6. That'll be here on Double T 97.3 as Coach Gerlich will visit about her team and what's ahead in terms of Big 12 play and how they get ready for that and how they kind of take a look at things. I can tell you, JoJo Worry, who's been sidelined with an illness, she had a health event that certainly could have been very, very threatening to her, but she is now going through individual workouts. I don't know if she's going to be able to get to a spot where they would make a decision about this year, but it's possible. But you kind of get to a certain point on those things where, okay, if it's deep into January, or if it's early February, why would you want to burn a year? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they may get to a point where they have a decision, or they may just go, hey, we're shutting down for the year. But I don't think that decision has been made per se yet. So other than that, I think her team's pretty healthy and ready to take on the task of the Big 12. The question becomes is what lies ahead in the Big 12 conference, because it's going to be very challenging, especially as teams have gotten better around them. Also tonight, we'll have NFL football for you on the air as the San Francisco 49ers play at the Seattle Seahawks. Coverage at 6:30 today on 100.7 The Score. So we've talked quite a bit about the transfer portalness of Fardaws Aimaq. You would have to think at some point in time that there'll be more tightening of how this is going to work, right? I mean, regardless of whether it's football or basketball, the football portal is open right now, as is the basketball portal for a period of time, as we're in between semesters. And then there's another one that opens up like around May the 1st, May the 2nd for a couple of weeks after basically spring football and things end for the spring semester to give people an opportunity to move freely, it seems, about the country. But there's got to be more of a tightening of this, don't you think? Or we just continue to have this kind of Wild West that's going on here. But maybe that's the way it's just going to be.
I would love to be on board with what you're saying. I don't know that you can go backwards. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have seen the NCAA or anyone else be some sort of governing body that is willing to go against the student athletes here of what they want and put rules in place that are now would go against what is allowed now. And so you're asking for something that I think is legitimately needed, but you're asking for it to go backwards. And I don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, in general, it just doesn't work, right? I mean, anytime you allow things, whether it's as a parent, you're raising your kids and you try to move the curfew back, or as a boss or an employee, the rules change at your workplace. And, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, it's just like the speed limit. I mean, the speed limit on 98th Street and other streets around town changed. And we're like, whoa, what's going on? Outrage, right? I mean, I'm probably amongst them. It's like, I remember,
I didn't know that it had changed.
Yeah, it's down to 45
on 98
on 98th Street, and they've been helpful with little flags over the speed limit sign, so that you can, even though they have a speed limit sign, they have a nice red flag over the speed limit sign to get your attention that there is a speed limit here. It's not just a racetrack.
Think there's a strategy for that?
I do. I do. I wish occasionally you would say something dumb that I could refer back to.
Occasionally, goodness, I give you numerous opportunities every day. You just have to remember them.
Right, I have to remember them.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah, I have to remember them. That's part of my problem. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, by the way, I did have a message delivered to me for you last night at the basketball game. Anne wants you to know that she hand delivered Mark Finkner and I chocolate chip cookies yesterday at the basksketball game.
But she didn't give you any of the good stuff?
Well, no, they were really good. I mean,
she didn't hook you up with the oatmeal raisin?
I think my order was for chocolate chip cookies.
I am a little disappointed that Ann didn't have a bag for you to give to me.
I actually thought that's what was happening.
Yeah. So the fact that she wanted you to know that she did it, but didn't have any for me, almost feels like nana boo boo. I am giving these to Chuck and Fink, and you are not getting any. I'm very hurt right now by Ann. Yeah. I know a lot of Anns that hurt me, but that's another one.
I honestly thought when she told Jamie, I was getting ready to say, these are for him.
Yeah. Man. Just throwing that at me during the Christmas season. Yeah. Man, that's harsh, Ann.
All right, a couple things here from the Yates Morning Center chat line we'll get to. One of them is this. I suppose we'll never know the rest of the story, but his body language and attitude on the bench and with Bacho on Tuesday gave no clue that Aimaq was unhappy here. Maybe wishful thinking, but I'm hoping he changes his mind. Yeah, I think that's wishful thinking, but yeah, it is very strange, isn't it?
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.